Hey everybody, it's your man James, Mr. Coin Treasure, back again with some more video action for you. This is another one of the clipped bits from a old live stream of mine. With the holiday season now upon us and whatnot, I thought it would time to be a little jovial, so I carved out a little something here where we get to have a little fun laughing at some virtue signaling fails by some comic creators that were done in the not too distant past. And I just thought it was kind of interesting, you know, what with all the outrage and craziness has been happening due to a certain event that happened last month. With the people who are generally the ones who engage in this kind of pandering, they've kind of been taking loss after loss. And I thought it would be a fun thing to look back and say that this has been a long time in coming, and they were even taking fails years ago. So I thought you guys just enjoy this little fun thing to bring some joviality to your holidays. Maybe get some good laughs at the expense of some people who really truly deserve to be laughed at. And I want to thank you all for joining me today, and say if you like what you see here, please drop some likes down below so you can help out the channel and help those algorithms out. Also, be sure to drop me any comments you got on what you got to say about this stuff. I always like to hear from the folks out there and what you're thinking. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed so you don't miss any of the content that I'm putting out around here. And if you have subscribed, share out some links and let's bring in some new subscribers, because I always want to get those numbers up as high as I can. Well, that'll about do it for this, but I hope you get some enjoyment out of this, a little laugh, a little fun, maybe even a little something you might learn. Who knows? But I thank you all for joining me, and I will be back soon with some more stuff. And until next time, take care. Superman, this is from Bounding into Comics, a little clip I took it from this. It goes, Superman, son of Kal-El writer Tom Taylor says John Kent being an empathetic young bi guy is far more heroic than somebody punching a supervillain in the face, which just on the very face of it is just like the most stupidest thing you could say, because, you know, being empathetic and all that's nice, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. Whereas, you know, guys who are superheroes who are putting their lives on the line against supervillains who are trying to steal property or kill people or take over the world, punching that guy in the face, putting your own life at risk, I think that's a lot more heroic than just saying, oh, I feel you, bro, I feel you. You know, it just doesn't quite have the same resonance, I think. And but we're going to see here just exactly why Tom Taylor feels that way. And it has nothing to do with him thinking this is a great character or anything else. It's all based on agenda. An agenda that's failing, by the way. Because here it is. This is from the interview which Bounding in Comics references there, and from a site called AIPT. And so I'm just going to go through this here with you. It goes, Tom, I wanted to ask you about your Superman, son of Kal-El. There are so many big beat moments. I think you've done more than most writers do in 50 issues. But in hindsight, is there anything you might have changed or done differently? So basically, you know, a very typical standard question, although, you know, he does suck up a bit with that whole doing more in 50 years and just a handful of issues, which is a bunch of baloney. But here's Tom Taylor's response to that. I'm a writer, you know, and there were things that were like, okay, this has to happen by coming out day. And I would have loved a little bit longer for John and Jay to be together before the kiss. But having said that, the importance of that moment far outweighs slight pacing issues, you know? So right here in the very first sentence or second sentence of what he's saying, Tom Taylor is basically saying, yeah, you know, craft and skill and storytelling and, you know, entertainment, yeah, that's important, but yeah, you know, I can all take a sideline to the agenda, which, as he says, was, you know, the importance of that moment, that kiss, that Superman's son comes out as gay. That was more important than honing your craft and making it make sense, making it worthwhile, making it something that felt real, felt organic, felt, you know, well done storytelling. None of that mattered. All that matters is the agenda. And as we go through here, you're going to see even more and more that that's exactly what he's saying. Continuing. When it makes global news and I'm watching it on SNL or whatever, yes, maybe you could have done with maybe 10 more pages, but as far as global, your writer's cap to one side. So once again, saying the craft doesn't matter. You're being a writer doesn't matter. It's projecting the message, and especially when it gets global attention. Oh, well, then that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you did a shitty job at presenting it. It doesn't matter if you did a shitty job pacing it. It doesn't matter if you did a shitty job at, you know, executing it. None of that matters. Your craft doesn't matter. What matters is the message. And again, this is something you see on and on with not just, you know, the LGBTQ community, but with all these type of things, with the race thing, with the gender thing, with the pronoun people, with the trans people, all this stuff. It's all the same. All the realities, all the logic, all the craft involved in when you're presenting a story like this or whatever, all of that takes a backseat to the message, which again he's going to explicitly get to a little more right here. Continuing, we somehow managed to keep people engaged without actually having John punch anyone for 6 issues. I think that's really important as well. Again, not really true. If you look at the sales numbers, the book was barely cracking top 50 after issue 1, and then there was the coming out issue, as he put it, issue 6, which shot it up because everyone wanted to, oh, what's this? Superman's son is gay, and so everyone had to check it out. And then right after that, the book falls off a cliff. Sales not in the top 50, not in the top 50 anymore after that. And Tom Taylor tried to deny this. He tried to deny it, tried to use fudging numbers, saying, well, there were just break between issues, and this whole month the issue didn't chart in there because of this, that, and the other. And he's trying to find all these excuses when the real answer is nobody cares. Nobody really cares about this stuff. You spent 6 issues building up to this, and nobody cares about it. And that's what it comes down to, because again, this is what happens when message is ahead of entertainment value, when message is ahead of craft, when message is ahead of doing a competent story. Continuing, so we have a young bi guy who's also is just the sweetest, most empathetic, nurturing guy who doesn't want to hurt anyone. And I think that's far more heroic than somebody punching a supervillain in the face. See, once again, all about agenda. This is what it is. This is what they do. And he's telling you basically right here, the whole point of superheroes is, yes, watching them punching supervillains in the face. That's what you read them for. That's what you've loved them for. You love watching the good guy bash the bad guy and put him in his place. That's what you want. But according to Tom Taylor, well, that's not important. What's important is our message, that it gets global attention. And, it doesn't matter how sloppily we do it, just as long as it's out there and it's in your face. And again, this is why they're failing so badly. This is why things are so horrible. But again, he's not the only one, because in this interview, they were interviewing him for, I think, the upcoming issue 13, I believe it is, of the book. And he is co-writing that with someone else named Nicole Maines, who is an actress. And here's them asking her a question about the upcoming book that she's being a part of. And it goes, do you feel like you can kind of put yourself into this character, like your own identity into it, to make it real and alive? And Nicole Maines comes in and says, that's kind of what I've realized with a lot of what I'm writing, is a lot of it is coming from my personal experience. A lot of it is just becoming sort of commentary on things I've gone through in my life. You write what you know. Now you see right there, that's true to a point, that you do write what you know, but you also can write about what you've read about. You can write about what you've heard. You can write about someone else's who's related something to you. Heck, this is comics. You can write something completely off the wall out of your imagination that's never existed, that no one's ever seen before, and you can do that. So yes, you can write what you know, but that's also like the easiest, most laziest way of writing, you can do. Because all you're saying is, well, let me take my story and superimpose it on this fictional character. That's easy. But saying, well, I'm going to try to tell the story of a character that isn't me, that isn't all from my perspective, that isn't all from my experience, that isn't all about me and my personal journey, and I'm going to have to go out and try to make this character interesting to people, that's a lot harder, And there are great writers who have done that, where they've written about characters that they have nothing in common with, but yet they wrote great stories. Why? Because they understood the characters and they understood what writing is. And here you can see she already shows you that she doesn't, because for her, it's only you write what you know. But that's not what you do. What you do is you write what works. You write what is good. You write what entertains. That is the point. That is how comics work. And that's what she doesn't understand. Continuing. That was the same thing playing Dreamer. It was always, how do I bring it back to what I've been through? How do I liken her experience to my own? Obviously, I'm not fighting evil superpowered villains, but I fought the state, I guess. Writing has been very interesting. So see, there it is. Once again, me. How I approach the character. How does it relate back to me? How does my experience coincide with the character? Not how do I make this character interesting? It's how do I make it about me. See, and that's the thing you're going to see in all this too. Besides the fact of how craft is secondary, the way Tom Taylor just told you, you have people like Nicole here who show you that this is all about narcissism for them and self-validation. That's all it is. They don't care whether the stories are good. They don't care whether they make sense. They don't care if they work with the characters or the audience enjoys it or it has any entertainment value. What they care about is look at me, give me attention, give me praise, give me validation, me, a narcissism. That's what they do. And again, she's going to show this to you right here at the very end, where she says, I'm definitely feeling the pressure of bringing this character to life because I never claimed to be a writer or I never claimed to say I love to write comics. So then why are you doing it? If you have no love of what you're doing, why are you doing it? I mean, at least with some jobs, you can say, well, I'm doing it for the money. Well, as we're going to see here later, there's not really a lot of money in comics today. If there ever was, it's certainly not now. And so you're not doing it for the money and you're not doing it because you love it. So why are you doing it? And again, it's just narcissism and it's just pushing an agenda. That's all it is. That's the mentality of these people. This is what we're dealing with, not just during Pride Month, but all year round with all these various factions of, identitarians. But here's where we start to get to some of the fun, where we see some of their woke virtue signaling backfiring. Now, here's one from a post by a guy named Bruno Redondo, who is the artist of a Nightwing book that Taylor is writing. And he did a cover where it showed like the classic like Brady Bunch, 9 framed images on there, like 9 different people in boxes. And some people were complaining about why there wasn't certain characters shown in there to spotlight the diversity of the Batman family. And the ones that they come up, they can talk about Kate Kane, who is the lesbian, and then you got Duke, the black guy who has been hanging out with Batman in more recent times under the pen of Scott Snyder and others. And so these characters were not shown on the Nightwing cover, and they're like, why not? This is more diversity, and it shows a bigger representation for the Bat family that way. And so, some people were complaining, and then Tom Taylor comes in to be a wise ass, and well, let's just say it doesn't go too well. He comes in and he goes, Bruno, where's Batmite and Jace and Lucius and Leslie Tompkins and Harley Quinn and Commissioner Gordon and Question and Harvey Bullock? Why do you hate Ace the Bat Hound, Bruno? Why? Now, he's doing this because he's mocking the people who are complaining that the 9 little panel grid on the cover didn't have enough diverse representation. And he's mocking this because, as Bruno says here, there's a limited amount of window space in the referenced grid. And that's true. You only have, 9 little images you can get on that cover. Well, you're going to have to pick and choose. You're not going to get everybody in there. But again, that's looking at it logically. See, these people who come and attack such things, they never see things logically. They always come from a place of emotion. And here, Tom Taylor is doing what he would say if I did it, or you or me, maybe you who are watching this did it, because, you may not necessarily agree with Tom Taylor's politics, because I know I don't. We would be called bigots for saying the very things that Tom Taylor is saying. But Tom Taylor thinks, well, it's okay for me to say it because, I'm one of the woke. But he quickly finds out that's not the case. See, here you go, this guy, FTO down here. You can see with a little rainbow avatar down there at the bottom. And he goes, you're comparing a black person to ask these, you're comparing a black person to ask to all these characters. A black person that Bruce sees as his son. The F is your problem here. And so here he's getting blowback for making this comment. Because, you can see here, you can see that the grid panel here in this image where it shows what the cover looks like. And so then Tom Taylor said, context is key. I was responding to Bruno, who was responding to someone asking why Kate Kane and Duke weren't on this Nightwing cover. He joked about the amount of windows, except he didn't joke about it. He basically told the truth. There's only so many spots, and there's so many characters, and only so many, openings on the cover. Can't get them all in this way. Sorry, And he goes, but the upshot is Kate and Duke haven't been in our Nightwing series yet. So here he's trying to now kind of brush it off. Oh, no, come on, man, context. But never mind that if it was you or me who said the very same thing that Tom Taylor did, would we get benefit of doubt of context that he's asking for here? Hell no.
we would be bigots. But yet Tom Taylor doesn't. Oh, you just got to understand the context, son. You're not getting it. And again, because he's being attacked by his own. But you notice he doesn't dare do what he would do if it was one of us. If one of us attacked Tom Taylor for saying that, he'd just ream us a new one or he'd block us. But he can't do that because, well, this person is one of the woke. I can't attack the woke because then that will get me canceled. But even this isn't enough because what ended up happening? Okay, jumping off for a bit. We'll check in to promote our new Nightwing on Tuesday, but there's way too much negativity. Taking a break, cheers, and so he goes and hides. Tom Taylor runs and he puts his tail between his legs and he runs. Again, you got to remember, this is the same type of people that his type has been catering to for the last several years in this industry. These are the people that they wanted. This was the audience they demanded. They wanted to replace us evil right-wing bigots with. Whereas these people, and now that they're turning on them, look at this. Oh my God, he can't take it, and he runs and he hides like the coward he is. Because in the bottom analysis, all his type are cowards. They have no guts. But again, it just shows you, even the mob that they create, again, they've never learned the lesson that you and I have known for quite some time, the lesson we learned from Frankenstein, from Mary Shelley, almost 200 years ago, where, it's, when you create the monster, you think it's only going to do your bidding and your will, but eventually the monster will turn on you and come after you. And that's what this is. This is what they're starting to see now. The monster they have created the last several years, saying it's okay to attack people who don't agree with you. Now it's coming back to bite them. And this is how they react. They run and they hide. Because what else can they do? They've unleashed, they've sown the wind and now they're reaping the whirlwind. And, I just think that's hilarious. But, it's not just DC that's doing this, but of course Marvel is in on all this. And here's their Voices book, Pride #1, because we got to showcase all the rainbow stuff, unless of course we're showing it in the Middle East, which then we don't show it at all because that's how all the companies are. We're going to show our rainbows all month long in June everywhere except the Middle East, which kind of tells you how much they really believe all this nonsense. But of course, the one that just came out was this, the gay Spider-Man web weaver. I mean, and look at this. Look at this design. I mean, the hand on the hip with the hip thrust tilt. You got the eyelashes on the eye lens of the mask. And look at that spider design. Look at the way it's on his back. It's like it's pointing to his butt. I mean, did anybody, where was the editors? Where were the people who watch it, look at this stuff and go, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't quite look right. Wait a minute. I mean, who thought this was a good idea? And this character that they're going to be unveiling in a couple months, guess what his occupation is? He's a fashion designer. I mean, could you get more stereotypical? Could you go out? Could you try any harder to find the gay stereotype? Oh, look, an effeminate shaped guy who is an interior decorator and a fashion designer. Oh my goodness. It's like every stereotype in the book wrapped up into a single character saying, well, we'll just give him spider powers. And it's hilarious to me. And, not only does this like weaken the Spider-Man brand with all these endless, tokenizations. Here's gay Spider-Man. And you got Miles Morales. Here's Black Spider-Man. And you got Gwen Stacy. Here's female Spider-Man. And then you got this one here. Here's this Spider-Man. And you got, what is it, with Silk? I think she's Asian, I think. There's Asian Spider-Man. All these different versions of the same character to try to get quote-unquote representation and diversity. And all they do is water down the main brand. And again, what's special about this guy? Is there anything, did we know about it? Is there some special reason that they had to do this? Well, according to the writer, Steve Fox, he goes, something I realized immediately when conceiving Webweaver is he can't and shouldn't represent all gay men. No single character can. Now, that's a good point, and it's true. But looking at that design you just saw, well, isn't that exactly what they're trying to do? They're using every gay stereotype they can think of to try to incorporate into this character. Say, see, he's gay. He's gay like you. See, gay man. See, gay women. See, he's gay. He's gay like you. I mean, that's all that is to make it so flamboyantly stereotypical that you can't help but think to yourself, oh my God, he's gay. He's gay like me. That's all it is. It's ridiculous. And again, he comes down here and says this next bit, which made me laugh out loud the first time I saw it. He goes, his fearlessly femme identity is central to who he is, but it's not the story, which is code for, yeah, it's going to be the story is that he's fearlessly femme. You know, I mean, again, you saw the design, you saw the pose they put the character in the design. I mean, that's all this is going to be about is he's gay. Look, it's Spider-Man. It's like Spider-Man, but he's gay. And that's all it is. That's the story. You know, how could you say it could be central to the character and not the story? Like, you know, well, what's central to Peter Parker? Well, his overdeveloped sense of responsibility. Yeah, that's central to the character. If that's not, but yet that's also a part of the story. That is the story. It's about this guy who has hyper sense of you know of responsibility on him because of a mistake he made when he was a kid. That's it. That's his story. So that the thing that's central to the character is the story. So if his fearlessly femme identity is central to the character, then it's central to the story. So no, it is the story. So again, just total lacking of you know understanding. I mean, did he read what he said before he wrote it? I mean, did somebody write this for him? I mean, I just don't get it. And again, he doubles down on it later. Right here. Surprise, I had the huge gay honor of helping to co-create Webweaver, who will make his debut in Edge of the Spider-Verse #5 this September. So, wait a minute, you just got done saying his being gay isn't the story, and yet it was a gay honor to develop it? Why would it be a gay honor? Why did you say it was an honor to create this new version of a character? Or so? You could have said that, but no, it was a gay honor. So you got to, again, the message. You got to hit over the head like a club with the message. See, he's gay. See, it's Spider-Man, except he's gay. See, he's gay. But, that's not the story, and he doesn't represent all gay men, but he's fearlessly feminine. That's central to his character, which, of course, is central to the story. But it's not about that, but it is. I mean, I just couldn't stop laughing at this. You know, this is like the worst rollout I've ever seen for characters since the New Warriors in 2020. You know, I mean, well, what are you thinking? But as bad as this is, it's not the worst. This was the worst right here. Miles Morales as Thor. And again, just like with Webweaver, they go the most stereotypical route you can go. I mean, look, he's got his shit kickers on there, his high tops. He's got the faded haircut. He's got tattoos. You got the Rainbow Bridge and Mjolnir got graffiti on it. I mean, you know, he doesn't have a cape, but he has a hoodie. I mean, it's every stereotype you can think of about the quote unquote supposed black culture all thrown into this, and it only gets worse. It just gets worse. This is as bad as this. It gets worse. Look at this. Hammer time. Oh no! Don't. Oh God. Oh. I loved MC Hammer in high school. I grew up with MC Hammer, and now you're gonna have Hammer time because you get it because MC Hammer's black. Get it? That's the joke, people. See, he has Hammer time because he has a hammer, but it's also Hammer time because MC Hammer's a black man. He's famous, and black people really like him because he's a rap artist. I mean, just totally ridiculous. You know, here's another one by Odin's Fade. I mean, you know, who thought this dialogue was a good idea? By Odin's Fade. And here's the funny part about all of this: if you see the character of Odin in here, who of course has to be black, because this is Miles Morales' Thor, not the real Thor. So the Odin in here, he has a beard, so you could say by Odin's beard because he has one. But the Odin in here, who's black, is bald. His head is shaved. So he doesn't even have a fade. He's bald-headed. So by Odin's Fade, that what, doesn't exist? What is this? Even in the context of their own story, it doesn't make sense. But that's what this is. This is how they try to placate. They're telling you, this is what we think of black people. This is what we think of that group of people. This is what see their fades, because they all wear their fades, like the way he's got his hair faded here. You see with the little carving in the side of the head and the way it fades back. Oh, that's the black thing, right? That's what they all do. Of course, the worst of all is this. It gets no worse than this. I mean, here he is in Asgard. Look at this. You got the the half a car with being pulled by a ram. You got, look at that, sneakers on a telephone line. You got graffiti all over the buildings. I mean, it's like saying, hey, let's take the hood and make it Asgard. And yeah, and just and the dialogue here is the absolute worst. I mean, again, it's cringe beyond cringe. Of all the 5 realities, Asgard is his hood. For miles, you can tell he's just that good. I mean, they're trying to do rap. They're trying to rap his origin in the opening page. I mean, only thing you're missing is someone doing a beatbox. I mean, come on. How much more stereotypical can you get than this? It's like they're not even either they're not even trying or they're trying to offend. I mean, oh my God. I mean, you could, white supremacists, actual white supremacists, not the way they use the word today for anyone that disagrees with them, but actual white supremacists who believe that the white race is superior to all others. Even they couldn't come up with something this bad. They would look at this and go, wow, man, that's really kind of racist. I mean, good Lord. And, rightfully so, Marvel got dragged for it. The more I see that image of Thor Miles Morales welcoming Hood Asgard, the angrier I get because of how tone deaf it is. Living in the ghetto isn't fun. Graffiti isn't street art or murals. It's dark, dangerous, violent urban decay, and Marvel thinks black people like that. Yes, this is what they think of you. So all of you people with darker skin who are watching this is what these companies and the people working for them think of you. They think this is what you're about, this is what you know, this is how you live, and this is how you have to be represented. They think they're doing such a great thing. And again, but this goes back to when you see them attacking people. Like, if you had like someone like, say, a Candace Owens or a Larry Elder, someone who's black, but they don't fit this stereotype that they're pushing, they attack those people. Which again, if it was any other circumstance, they would say it was racism to do that. But yet it's not racism when they do it because, see, they know what black people are all about. See, they're about the hood and fades and high-top sneakers and graffiti and rap. That's what they're all about. So therefore, we'll do all that. And if anyone who's black that doesn't do that, well, then they're not really black because, well, they're not doing what the black's supposed to do. Blacks are supposed to be into this stuff. You see, Gene, that's what they think. That you're supposed to be into this stuff, so you not being into that, you thinking that it's not a great thing. They would say that you're not really black. That's hilarious. Here's some more. What if Thor was black? Immediately gives Asgard a drug problem. What did the creators mean by this? I love it. Immediately gives Asgard a drug problem. Yes, is there guys on the corners of Hemdale Boulevard and Sixth Avenue selling some dope on the corner? I mean, you'd expect to see that in this. The way they've done this, it's so horrible. But again, this shows you the disconnect. These people in the industry today, the mainstream, this is what they think. They think that if you don't agree with black people or whatever, or you don't agree with this group, you're a bigot. But here they are, the most bigoted people, because they only see them in stereotypes. You see? They only see them as this. This is what you guys are into, sneakers hanging on phone lines. No, that's not what they're into. Some people do that in some areas where they live, yes. But that's not because they're into that. But again, it's just completely incomprehensible to them because they think they know what these groups are all about. But this was my favorite one that I saw. There are reasons why black people keep asking for black characters to be written by black writers and drawn by black artists. That Miles Morales' Thor comic is legit one of those reasons. Now, I agree with them and I don't agree. I don't agree that you have to have a black character written and drawn by black people. You can have, non-black people do it and do a good job. I think of Don McGregor's work on the Black Panther in the 70s on books like Jungle Action. Those were great stories that spoke, I think, to what you could say was somewhat of a black experience. Pardon me, a black experience, but it didn't talk down to people. It wasn't like just endless stereotypes like you see with Miles Morales' Thor here. So you can have white people or even Asian or any race write a black character and write them well. It doesn't have to be garbage just because they aren't black. But I can understand the impetus here of, we want people who have a better understanding of the people and the culture they're writing about. Because this Thor comic shows that when people don't understand it, look at what we get. That's absolutely correct. But I love their little bit at the end here in their follow-up. He goes, should have just drawn homie eating watermelon and fried chicken as well, in my opinion. I guess even for Marvel, that might have been a little too on the nose, I guess. I don't know. They didn't have that in the book, but I don't know why. They used pretty much every other, stereotype you could think of except that one. I guess for even Marvel, that was a rainbow bridge too far. But this is it. This is the thing. They do not understand what it is they're talking about. Because again, it's never about creativity. It's never about good storytelling. It's about an agenda. The agenda is representation, or the agenda is pushing this in the face of people so that they see it, know it exists. Look, there are black people. Look, black people are heroes. See, and look, he's a hero because he's black. See, he's the black hero. And this is what you end up with. And the people that they're catering to, the people they're aiming this at, this is their reactions. Even they're looking at this going, what the hell? Like, were you put up to this by the Klan? Did they pay you to do this? And the funny thing is the writer of this Miles Morales story got such blowback, he apologized profusely and then said he was going to donate the money he was paid to some like charity or whatever for black folks or whatever, some kind of like just something for some kind of charity that way. And I'm thinking, yeah, but how much would you really pay? What, a couple $100? I mean, that's really going to make a big difference in a lot of lives, I guess, right? Because you threw a couple $100 to this charity that you probably didn't even reference, so you don't even know if it's going to the people they say it's going to. I mean, but again, it's just the lack of foresight in all of this. Where were the editors? Where were the people to watch this and go, hey, whoa, maybe we shouldn't go this route with this. Maybe we should try a different way. Maybe we should try an approach that isn't so totally dependent on all of the stereotypes that we all think that black people are. But again, these people can't help but think in stereotypes because to them, that's how the people are. And again, they'll tell you that that's what you think. You're the racist, you're the bigot, you're the homophobe, you're this, you're that, because you have all these preconceptions about these people. And yet all they do when they try to create works for them are preconceptions and stereotypes. This is how it all works now. In the mainstream, this is how it works. Modern comic book storytelling in a single meme, folks, right here. This is how it works. And this is why they're losing. This is why their sales are down. This is why that they can't afford to, get their computers replaced or afford their rent or buy their food. This is why, because this is what they do. And it's the message that matters to them. Nothing else. Not entertainment value, not good craft, not good work, not being professional, none of that. None of that matters. And as a result of that, they keep losing.